What is going on, guys? It's your boy Fozzie. Today we're hitting the community up and doing another gunlance build. Now hear me out, this one is different. We are using the Mhw-Chargegunlance. Now I can see why people enjoy this gunlance so much, because it is really strong. I don't particularly like the playstyle too much, but it is too good to not showcase. We're going to have the training area. I'm going to break this build down, and then we're going to demonstrate just how good this weapon is. I'll see you guys over there. Now that we're back over in the training area, I'm going to break this build down and show you why I think this is a great build. Now I did have 3 other builds with the same weapon that I was playtesting, but I figured out that if you look real quick at my equipment info, you don't see any Dober, chest piece, nothing to get an attack boost, and I will explain why when we get to the skills. We're using the Earthshaker long level 4 shelling gunlance. This thing is a powerhouse. It hits hard. It hits very often, as fast as you can practically charge it, as much as you can get that infinite combo off. This weapon is really good, and if you have not tried it out, you should definitely try it out. It's very easy to use, very easy for any new players especially, and it works really well. If you look at our helmet, we're using the Basal Helm B. It gives us a level 3, level 1 gem slot, and earplugs level 2. Basal Mel B to get 2 level 1 gem slots and guard level 2. Now I know the guard is a little different than most other gunlance builds, but I'll explain why I think guard is the best choice out of everything else right now when we get to the skills. Destined Grip B gives us a focus level 2. Basal Coil B, earplugs level 2, level 3 gem slot. Destined Grips give us 2 level 1 gem slots. I didn't mention that, sorry. Uragan Greaves A to give us a level 1 gem slot and guard level 2 again. And then we're using Artillery Charm 3. In mantles, you can just kind of use whatever you want. Now if you look at the skills, right, we have Basal Geese Protection, Guts. Above a certain threshold, you withstand an attack that would normally cart you only once. So if a monster hits you and just practically one-shots you, like if you're struggling with Nergigante's Dive Bomb still or something like that, this will keep you alive. You will be able to survive at least one of the one-shots. Very useful, very good for players who are trying to learn monsters that don't understand them completely. I think it's really, really useful. Earplugs level 5. Earplugs level 5 I feel like is a no-brainer, because you want to keep your combo going as much as possible, because more uptime means more damage. We all know that. So earplugs level 5, when a monster roars and would stun you, this protects you and it lets you keep doing damage while he sits there and roars. It's great. You get to continue to punish. I think it's very, very useful. Now guard level 4. Now this is probably a skill that's going to throw a lot of people off. But the reason I think guard level 4 is so useful is because I play tested the attack, the Doberman B, to give you attack level 2, and I had like attack level 4, attack level 5 with my complete build. I didn't have guard in, and it doesn't increase your damage at all. It, like, attack level does not increase your shell damage at all. The only thing that increases your shell damage is the Artillery Charm, right? Now Artillery Charm increases attack power of each attack by 30% for each file. So Charge Blade, Gunlance files are increased by 30%. This is the only way to increase that damage, and you are not using this lance for the lance part, you're only using it for the gun part. So dropping the attack because it was completely useless and gaining guard level 4 was, I thought, the best decision over even Handicraft, because even though we know that Handicraft, right, gets you to white sharpness, gives you 2.5% flat increased damage, but it doesn't give you that increase to your shells. So that's another completely useless, just, skills to have that doesn't benefit you in any sort of way. But guard level 4 greatly decreases the impact of attacks or reduces stamina depletion by 30%. The stamina depletion is a nice little bonus, but having faster recovery time after a monster hits you, I mean, you have the second best shield in the game. You should be using it. And since you should be using it because you're going to be right up on the monster constantly, I feel like guard level 4 was the best decision, because nothing else increased your attack, and at least this gives you some type of use, especially with the second best shield in the game. Now, Artillery level 3, like I said, increases the shell damage by 30%. Speed sharpening level 3, I mean, as much as you're shelling, it's eating sharpness away. This is very important to have because you're down once, you sharpen, you're right back up. Blast attack level 2. Now, blast attack was kind of a iffy one for me to put in there, but I feel like it was very useful because if you look, our element blast right now is almost same as our attack. Now, I know there's bloat factors and everything, but having that extra little bit of build-up, 10% build-up with a bonus of 10, right? Having that faster build-up, blast procs for 100 flat every time it goes off. So if you can set it off more often, you're doing more damage on top of what you're already doing. It's free damage that you shouldn't pass up because it's part of the weapon also. Now focus level 2. Focus level 2 is in here because it reduces charge time by 10%. The increased gauge fill rate is completely useless, but the reduced charge time is super good because when you're charging those shells, it doesn't seem like it, but the 10% makes a big difference because it makes those shells go off faster in a short amount of time, which means more damage. So if you can tell just from this first page, right, speed sharpening, blast attack, focus, those are all helping you pushing more damage without even like having to use a lot of slots. Like this is mostly from just the equipment, right? The only thing like gem wise is just speed sharpening and blast attack. That's it. So having the artillery, the focus, it all increases your damage while still having great uptime, having shell damage increased, and if you get one shot, you'll still be able to survive through it. I'm using, on the second page, Resuscitate. The reason I'm using Resuscitate is because I had one extra free gem. I didn't really know what to put in there because I didn't want to put a recovery up gem because I don't have a health augmentation on it, so I feel like it was completely useless when I could, try to use something else. I felt like Resuscitate was the best choice right now because it improves evasion and reduces stamina depletion while afflicted with the normal status effects. So like whenever you catch on fire or like Logana would freeze you or something, ice, right? This makes it to where you have better evasion, and that is a really big deal because with the lance you have very low mobility. So anytime a monster gives you a status effect and you're kind of needing to fix the problem, having the extra evasion sometimes can make a really big difference. And I felt like for one gem slot, I feel like it was really solid to go with. And of course, Protective Polish. I'm pretty sure this is like a no-brainer. Protective Polish, it literally explains itself as to why you would use it, especially for this build. And it really works really well with speed sharpening level 3. You're down once, you sharpen, you're right back up, 60 seconds, boom. Free shelling all day long. Now, if I come over here and just for the people who don't really know what this gun lance is about, right? You can just fire all 3 shots, right? Well, sorry, Worm State Cannon. But the really nice thing about the long lances are you can charge your shots and they proc from a lot more damage. And the really good thing, and the reason this is so useful, is because if you do not know this, all shells, right, ignore all armor. So if you hit a monster on the head or hit it like on its armored piece, like if you're fighting Deora, it's going to proc the same amount of damage every time. You're not going to do less damage in one spot, more damage in another. It's going to proc for the same amount of damage every time. And this is the reason why it's so useful, because you can just stand on a monster and just do this all day long. That's all you gotta do. This is how you play this weapon. And it's really, really good. I hope you guys like the build. I hope you kind of see the way I went with it. It was very different, but I felt like it flows very well together. And also, it kind of caters to new players. If you're trying to get, up to tempered and you're trying to get those gems and grind for the stuff you want, this is a very easy, very, very easy build to do that will carry you easily through tempered. I've used this many times on tempered Nergigante, tempered Tuestra, and it works really well. But we're going to head over. I'm going to go fight something and demonstrate this build. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Any suggestions, let me know, and I'll make sure I get back to you. See you guys in the next one. As always, much love and peace.